So in today's session, we'll see the invoice approvals. Okay, we'll just go through the required setups and we'll test the same. So how the notifications can be routed based on the rules which we are going to define in the BPM workflows, or here we can call as task configurations as they given the name. Fine, we'll see that. So invoice approvals. So when you talk about invoice approvals in EBS, we have AME, Approval Management Engine. But in Fusion, if you want to configure any approvals, the approvals can be related to invoice or journals. If we talk about journals, normally the journal related configuration we do from GL only. Journal approvals, if you want to implement, we can set up the approvals from GL itself. But when you talk about AP, we do from BPM, AME and EBS. And for requisition, purchase order related or document related approvals also we can set up directly from purchasing. That's how we have a user interface. But when you talk about invoice approvals or journals approvals, so those everything you can just configure from BPM application. That's one of the middleware component. BPM stands for business process management. Through BPM, we can define very simple rules. The user interface, they simplified. We'll see how it works. Now to test this functionality, we'll go with a simple case. Okay. So what we'll do is we have a user called as Google, right? So we have a user called as Google. Now we can say we'll set certain limit for this user to approve the invoices. For this Google user, we can say same or less than $50,000 can be approved by Google user. And we'll create one more user called as, okay, say Google one. We'll create one more user. For this user, we'll give the limit, say more than 50,000. That means, so here is a direct rule we are defining going forward. We'll come across how to set employee supervisory hierarchy and how to set BU specific rules and how to set up automatic approvals. Okay, and how to target approvals for specific employee or say user. We'll just go through all these points. For now, just for to test this invoice approvals, we'll go with the simple rules. So we'll go and create the two rules. Okay, so same or less than $50,000 can be approved by Google user. If the more than 50,000, that should goes to Google one. So we know the concept called as approval groups. So approval groups in EBS, the same concept in AME we have approval groups where we can group one or multiple employees. In the same way here also we can do the same. So now to target these two employees or two users with these rules, what we can do is we can go and create the two approval groups. So approval group one. We can group multiple employees into one group, but here for our testing purpose we are going to group only one person into this. So we'll just take Google into this group and approval group 2, and we'll take Google 1. Okay, first we require two users. Already we have one user, and we'll go and create one more user. For these two users, these are the rules we are going to apply. And first we have to create the two approval groups by targeting the specific user or multiple users into that group. We have to group. So into approval group 1 we can select Google as a one employee, and into approval group 2 we'll just select Google 1 as a just employee. Once we're done with that, these rules we have to define. Okay, so we'll create rule called as the same or less than $50,000. Okay, and we'll create one more rule for this group purpose to target this group. So create rule 2, and we can just give the rule name as more than 50,000. Simple. First we can create the approved groups and we can go and create the rules. And it's not mandatory we have to create the approved groups directly in the rule definition itself. We can select the user also. We'll be testing the different options, how these expressions can be managed in the rule definition within the BPM workflows. Okay, we'll go with this example, and going forward we'll come across other options also. What are the levels we can set approvals, and that will be testing one by one. Done. So once we complete with these setups, what we can do is, so this should be, when you are creating the rules, you can specify the business unit also. This rule should be applicable for which business unit, or else you can just create the open rule which could be applicable for any BU. So for which BUs these users will be working, and as well as the approvals are enabled. Okay, so now when you create these rules, we create as a open definitions. We no need to specify the business unit. Just, and going forward, just I'll show you how to select BU parameter so that this rule will be applicable for specific business unit. Okay, we'll see that. So once we're done with this rules definition, we can go and enable invoice approvals for specific business unit. Say enable invoice, sorry, approvals for business unit. Okay, so in case of EBS, where we set approval related controls, in payable options we have a tab called as approvals. Under that we can enable the approvals, but here, so to set up, to enable the invoice approvals for specific BU, we use invoice options. Okay, in invoice options, within the invoice options we can go and enable the invoice approvals. So that's all. These are the setups we have to complete. So after completing these setups, we'll go and create the invoice from Google user. So from Google user, we'll go and create invoice. So we'll create invoice. So for Google user, we are going to give the approval limit up to 50,000, same or less than 50,000. Okay, so we'll go and create with $25,000, and that can be approved by Google user. And we'll create one more invoice from the same user, say $60,000. Then as per our rules definition, that should be routed to Google One user, and we'll go to the Google One user and we'll approve it. Finally that document, the invoice should be approved. Okay, this is what we are going to test. Still we have a different documents related approvals. So when we go through those journal approvals, requisition, purchase order approvals, we'll just go through more other options which are possible and how to set up to implement the solution. We'll see that. Okay, just to test with invoice approvals, we'll go with this simple requirement. Okay, we'll see this. Fine, already we have a user called as Google. Now we'll go and create one more user called as Google One. Just go to instance. So go to security console to create one more user. Security console, go to users, say add user account. You can give the name as Google One. Set password. See here what we discussed. we want to write this rule for Google One, and we are not planning to create invoices from the Google One. So just notification will goes to Google One. Since Google One is going to have a approve limits, Google One will approve it. So anyway, we are not going to create any transactions, any invoices from the Google One user. So that is the reason we don't need to assign any roles to this user, not required. If you have a plan of creating the transaction, then you can add the roles and you can provide the BU access to the specific roles for the user. These activities we can do. For now, we don't require. Just we need user only. So now we have these two users ready. We'll go and create the approval groups. To create the approval groups, you can go to project or directly from FSM homepage with a task called as search. You can search for the task. You can go to implementation project. Within the project, you can find. If not from the project, you can go to this search FSM homepage. From here, you can search for task called as approval groups for financials. Manage approval groups. So here we can create the approval groups. Here you could see these all are, this list is the approval groups which are already created in this environment. Okay, since this is a vision instance, you could see these definitions. In case of fresh instance, we don't see any the predefined groups within this environment. Okay, we'll see. It's a very simple process. The system already based on our task selection, manage approval groups. Just selected approval groups section. So you can click on create. Here you can give the approval group name. You can give the group name starts with a Google. So Google approval group 1, AZ1 approval group 1. Here we discussed approval group 1 and approval group 2. I'm just writing in short Google AZ1 approval group 1. So we have to group the resource people into this group. So to add the people into this group, click on this add member. Click on add member. Click on search and just search for user called as Google. The first user select and say okay. Say okay. Want to,
Lakshman?
yeah.
Yeah, one thing I've noticed is in search fields, before even hitting the search button, in Oracle EBS, we have the option to say, give like geo, then a percentage, and if you tab out, it will automatically pull the list of value or it will choose the value automatically. Such a thing is not there here, correct?
No, here you don't need to give percentage. You can write that few letters. It can fetch it. Without percentage is not required here. Okay. See, because I just gone through the process where I clicked on search and I searched for the value. You don't need to do that directly. You can type and you directly can hit the icon called as search icon. It works.
Okay.
Yeah. Fine. So this is how if you want to group the people, if you want to take the people into this group, you the same. Just you can click on add member and you can add multiple employees into this group. Okay. Now just we plan to have only one employee in one group. So save it. So done. We'll go and create one more group. Click on create. So you can say Google approval group 2. Just click on add. Okay. Click on search here. Google, Google one. Select, say OK, and save it. So we created two groups. The first group we selected employee called as Google or user called as Google. The approval group 2 we selected Google one. Now we have to go and define the rule. Okay, we have to create the two rules. Okay, to create the rules, you have to go to task configuration. Within the task configuration, you can see the workflows. Okay, already we saved it. So now you can just click on task configuration tab. Okay, task configuration. 1 second here. So this is the task actually we have to use. Define approval management for financials. So use this task, manage task configuration. From here, since we navigated with this, it is just allowing to define the groups only. Instead of clicking on this task configuration, you can go with this task, manage task configuration for financial, so that you can have access to finance related workflows. Just click on this. So why it is not showing here? Yeah. So here you can find this. If that is the case, here also it should display right. Yeah, here also we have that option. It's hidden. Okay, fine. Even you can just go with the same, like here we use the task called as manage approval groups, right? Let me close again. We can manage approval groups. Just it's hiding, so that's the reason I was trying with a different task. So here we created two approval groups. Those two you can see here. Google AZ1, Google AZ2, approval group 1 and 2. Now you can go to task configuration. Here you can see all the approval related workflows. So now we need workflow related to invoice approvals. So you just look for the approval workflow for AP invoices. So that starts with the AP invoice. It's related to finance, so you could see as a fin. Yeah, here we have that workflow name, fin AP invoice approval. Just click on that. Just click on that workflow name. Okay, let me drag this little left. So we selected. Now if you go to assignees, here you can see the workflow. So this is the workflow we have for invoices. So here whatever you see as a boxes, this you can say nodes, different nodes within the workflow. So see, these all nodes are related to say invoice line level approvals. Invoice line level. If you want to set line level approvals, we know in EBS release 12 onwards we have invoice lines concept. Line level also you can set up approval even in EBS release 12, which is not possible in EBS 11i. So according to that functionality, we can set up approvals at line level, the same option they given in the workflow itself. If you want to set approvals at invoice level, so these are the different nodes which we can use. Okay, so these are the different nodes available. You can just set forever information notifications and a single approver. You see here all the icons will be represented in this way. See here, just when you place the cursor on this, it shows forever information participant. Just if you want to send forever information notification to the specific user or group of users, you can use this node. And if you place the cursor on this, it says single participant. If you want to send notification to single participant, you can use this node. Not only single, even for multiple also it will work. It's all about how you are defining the rule, and within that rule what expression you are taking, that's very important. That will see how to set it up. And if you place the cursor here, you can see here some group of people as a some kind of serial. So if you look at this, you just place cursor here, it will show as a the exact name. Just SOA means SOA. It's a technical string they given over there. Approval approvers, parallel participants. Parallel means, okay, so will be the notification will be, we can send to multiple people at a time. And if all people are going to approve, then only the document will get approved. And here if you see this, if you place the cursor on that, this is serial participants, invoice approval serial participants. That means it goes in the sequence, one after one. It has to be approved, or how what sequence we are following. That all you can specify. The rest of all also you can see with the same forever information. Okay, and here parallel single participants, and it's parallel participants. These are the different nodes are available. Okay, just with the specific node we can write multiple expressions. Okay, we will be understanding these all the points once we start working on that. It's not only just invoice approvals, we have other approvals also. So just we'll start working on one by one, we'll get to know all these information. Fine. So now the first point is, in the fresh instance, okay, you may find out all these nodes are disabled. Okay, we have to enable the node if you want to use any node. If you notice here, almost all the nodes are disabled. How can we say the node is enabled or disabled? Here we have an icon. Okay, so what purpose the node we have, based on that we have icons. All the icons you could see here as a disabled, grayed out. If the icon is in the blue color, that you can understand the node is enabled. Here out of this entire workflow, any node is enabled will go and see. So all are disabled. Yes, here we have one node which you could identify as a enabled. Reason you could see in the blue color. Okay, so how to enable any node and how to disable it. So this node is enabled. Let's see how to disable it. Just place cursor on this, just click on that. The below panel will open, and click on advanced. Okay, so you can enable this checkbox called as ignore participant. When you say ignore participant, system will disable the node. In the same way, if you want to enable any node, click on this, any one of the disabled node, click on this, go to advanced, and you can say ignore participant checkbox, you can disable. That means you are telling to the system don't ignore, that means it will enable. So this is how you can manage. If you want to do this kind of editing options, I mean you want to change this, uh, I mean it not only just changing this. If you want to create the rule, or if you want to enable disable any node, you have to enter into this workflow panel by clicking on edit option. Okay, if you click on edit and if you enter into this panel, yes, system will allow you to enable or disable any node, and it will allow us to create the approved rules as per our requirement. Okay, we'll see now. So what workflow we selected? Financials, fin, AP invoice approvals. Then click on edit. Just click on edit. So then you can go to assignees tab. Okay, now just you can go to the node which is enabled. Just to test, you can select it, drag little up, go to advanced. Now you can say ignore participant. Okay, and after just doing any changes, you can click on save. Okay, after saving it, we have to commit this, nothing but deployment. Just click on commit task. That means we are deploying this workflow. The changes what we did to reflect, we are deploying, which we call as commit here. Done. So now if you go and verify directly also, you could see the node as disabled. Right, earlier this node was enabled. Now it got disabled. No node is enabled. So ideally what we do is, by using which node we are going to define the approval rules, you can just make sure that that node only enabled, rest of nodes you can keep off by disabling. So now what we'll do is we'll go and enable one node to define the rules which we discussed. So to do that, you can just first click on edit tasks so that it will allow us to edit. Go to assignees. This you can drag little down. Here these are the nodes available. We'll go with this single participant. Okay. So I'm selecting this node and go to advanced. So here you can disable ignore participant. That means already we informed the system as ignore participant means disable. If you disable the checkbox, it won't ignore, it will enable. Okay, after doing this change, just save and do commit so that you could see the node as enabled. Done. Now again you can click on edit mode, go to assignees. Here we can see the node is enabled. To define the rules, what are the rules we discussed here? Two rules we discussed. Okay, one for approval group 1 where we have employee called as Google. The other rule for approval group 2, within the approval group 2 we are going we already have Google 1 employee or user. Fine. To create the rule against this node, you just click on this, go to rule icon, just dot the given, just click on go to rule, the pop-up message what our system provides. So here by default you can have one rule called as, so ignore invoice request. This is the predefined rule, the first one. The second one someone created in this environment for testing purpose or who are practicing. Okay, maybe from previous batches. So here we have node. So since this is a test environment, the best thing what you could do is you can disable the existing rules within the node and you create your own rule so that it would be very easy where you can just test it. Otherwise if you have some other rules within that node which are incomplete, those may create some issues. So that is the reason what I recommend is better you can disable the existing rules. Now within the node we have a two rules. Okay, we'll go and disable these two rules and we'll create our own rules and we'll test it. How to disable? You can expand this rule and here we have a advanced settings next to down arrow icon. So here active, it's already disabled. Maybe the one who just created this rule, the person might have done that activity, and now we'll go and disable it. There won't be an issue even if you don't disable also, just only that purpose why we are trying to disable that may be incomplete. When you try to validate the rule, once we create new rule, again system will look into the other existing rules and it will validate if any errors and or warnings, it will be throwing the message. So instead of just working on those messages and all, best thing what you could do is, anyway this is a test environment visual instance, there won't be an issue. So you can deactivate that rule which is already exist. So deactivate, you may just save and do commit. It's not mandatory, you can just leave those rules whatever you could see and you can create your own rule and make sure that you are creating properly. That's it. Go to assignees, go to the same node, on go to rule, same. Now we have two rules already, but those two are inactivated. Fine. Now we'll create two rules what we require. Okay, same or less than 50, more than 50, right? So click on create. So rule one, you can say, you can write prefix as Google, or you can write same or less than 50,000. Just it's identification purpose. We are giving the rule name. Now expand it. Here we have to write the actual condition. So if condition, okay, if class. So what we can do is, if invoice amount is same or less than 50,000, who can approve? That's what we are going to specify. If invoice amount, you can click on this search. Yes, search for attribute called as invoice amount. With space or without space, you can search for invoice amount. Okay, so go to invoice header. When you search for invoice amount, it should filter. Yeah, so invoice amount. Okay, directly you can select this invoice amount, if invoice amount, or else it's what Oracle recommends is the amount is going to be the value. uh, so you can just select long value. Select long value expression if you are dealing with amount as a parameter in the approvals rule definition. Select long value and say okay. That means now we just selected if invoice amount is, yeah please.
Yeah, hello, Lakshman. So if we need to choose some other attributes other than what's there in the LOV, what do we do?
No, just you
Like some
search with the relevant name. Okay, those all
okay.
are grouped. Invoice header level, line level, all attributes are grouped. Okay, you can just click on those and you can look into that. One second, I'll just take you through that. So when you just define the rule, you can just go through all these information. See here, invoice creator base you can specify, and invoice distribution base, and code, job, and manager type, etc. Many attributes we have. So many attributes. What level you want to set, you can set. Just let me search with invoice. So these are the different folder which consist of many attributes. Okay, so invoice creator or invoice hold based, and invoice line, if so and so hold is placed, this is how it should be routed, and distribution base or in header level. Okay, line level. Okay, invoice requester base. So there are many just attributes groupings are available. So what level you want to set, you can set it up. You can just go on to choose, and accordingly the system will behave in the approval process. Even DFF, based on DFF values also you can set the approval rule. These all are DFFs which you can set. The invoice header level you can enable DFFs. So based on the DFF specific value how it should be routed, that you can do it. You can just look into this. It's generally you simply you can access, and you just go through all this so that you can understand what are the all the attributes we have. But here I'm trying to explain so how that rule can be defined. So once you understand that these things, anyway anyone can just go through, they can understand what are the possibilities we have. Okay, fine. So now as we just selected earlier, we can search for invoice amount.
Uh, Lakshman, can we add as many conditions as we want, or is there any limit
Yeah, you
for
can
the?
write n number of conditions.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, you can write. So select long value. Even if you select invoice amount, it will work, but sometimes it may create some issue. That is the reason what Oracle recommends is always go with a long value selection for the amounts. Yeah, please.
Actually, in the invoice
Voice is
distribution,
very low.
do we
I can't hear you.
in the invoice distribution, do we have an option to select the cost center or department for the rule?
Invoice distribution. Just we have to verify.
Yes.
Call center you can set it up. Call center you can set it up. So when you talk about invoice distribution, you can look into that. Account segment. We have many attributes.
Department and cost center. We have that.
Yeah, see that normally department only we use as a cost center segment, right? Yes, cost center we have that option.
Thank you.
Yeah, fine, thanks. So we'll go with that invoice amount, invoice header, invoice amount, long value selection. Done. Now what we discussed here, same or less than, right? Same or if invoice amount is same or less than, here you can go with the expression as same or less than. How much amount we discussed? Same or less than 50,000. So click on search. You should not enter 50,000 here if you are going to enter any number amounts. So instead of entering directly, what we have to do is, so click on the search icon first. Click on search icon and click on enable constant. Here you have to enter the amount 50,000. Then say okay. Now it will take into the format. Okay, then if invoice amount is same or less than 50,000, then who can approve? That you can specify here. Add actions we have. Click on that add action drop down option and select add approver. So these are the different approvals which you can implement. So supervisory, when employee creates any invoice that should be routed to supervisor, in that case you can use it. Resource means directly you can set if invoice amount is same or less than 50,000, that should be routed to routed for approval for whom, directly you can specify the employee name. Position means the position, like the positions you have to define, you have to create the employees and you have to define the position hierarchy you have to create. That's how that can be routed. Even the management chain, job level, specific job, this should be routed, you can specify. For now we created approval group. If invoice amount is same or less than 50,000, so that has to be routed to approval groups. Who's the right approver within that group, they can approve it. That's how we can specify. Say select approval group. We'll be testing in the different other documents case also. At the time we'll go with other options. I selected just approval group, and here system is asking to select if invoice amount is same or less than 50,000, which group of the people can approve that invoices. That you can select our approval group name. So approval group Google AZ1, approval group 1. Within AZ1 Google AZ1, we have an employee called as Google. That means Google can approve it. That's the meaning here. So done. So this is how we have to specify. It's a very simple expression. So you can write it. Going forward, I'll take you through that, how to bring that other attributes, conditions into the picture. Here you can go with additional. Just we are writing simple condition. If you want to write more, here you can find the options. Okay, we'll go through it in the one go. It's not required. We'll be testing many other. At the time we'll see that. Okay, now I'm not setting control here. If in here see I given if invoice amount is same or less than 50,000, this approval group of the people can approve. Here I can put and condition, and if invoice amount is same or less than 50, and if business unit is equal to Google US business unit, then this group of the people can approve. That's how you can specify. But now we'll go with the open rule definition. So later we can see that. Done. We created rule. After creating the rule, you have to validate it. Here we have a validate. Okay, tap, just click on validate. After clicking on validate, here system will display the message. You can scroll a little down here. So message, no validation error warning found. That means here the rule whatever we created, within that there is no issue, like it's properly defined. So now what we can do is you can click on save, and you can commit it. You should submit for commit. Commit is equal to deployment here. If you don't commit, it cannot be deployed, so the changes won't reflect. So that's all. It's a simple user interface where directly you can hit the workflow, and there you can define the rule with we have a different expressions which you can present there. Okay, so we're done with this. Okay, one rule we created. Sorry, we plan to create two rules, right? Fine, done. We're going to create one more rule. Okay, here, just drag little right. So workflow name is fin AP invoice approvals. Okay, here we have that workflow fin AP invoice approval. Click on edit, go to assignees, go to the node which we enabled. Okay, click on add rule. Here rule purpose is if the amount is more than 50,000, or say same or more than, any expression you can give. Here same or less than 50,000 you just given. Here instead of more than means if in case of 50 no rule is applicable. That is the reason you can say same or more than 50,000. Expand it, search.
I think Lakshman, same if you give in both the places, it will take both the rules, right?
Sorry,
If you are giving same in both the rules, if we create with 50,000, which
first
rule it
one,
has to take?
first one what we given, 1 second. Same or less than, okay, same or
Less than.
less than we can, same means 50. Yes, it's a more than we can use here. I thought
Right.
we given in the different way. Sorry, the same we given. I didn't notice that as some less than that. That's what I was focusing. Fine, done. Correct. Same means 50,000 or less than 50,000. That is the meaning of it. Fine. So more than 50,000 here. Since this is a rule, yes, this is the one which we can go. And other expression we have like less than, the same or less than, same or more than. Yes, that's true. It's only more than means it will be applicable in this case. Done. We'll go with a more than expression. So that's what that is the reason I just I discussed in that way. But in between I thought like we didn't give same, and that's the reason I just started changing the rule name. Fine, good. So now we'll go with the attribute called as invoice amount. So invoice header parameters, invoice amount, select long value, say okay. So more than, if amount is more than 50,000, don't enter amount directly here. So click on search. It should enable constant. enter 50,000, and it should be routed to which group of the people for approval. Go to approval group and select approval group. So approval group 2, right? Google approval group to AZ2. Done. So you can submit for validation and verify validation message. So no validation errors or warnings found. But now you can save and do commit.
Okay.
Yeah, please.
Uh, can we have a different if condition in this rule, or does it have to be the same if it's approval rule?
In if only you can go if in say you are specifying if invoice amount, then you can add some unconditions and all other filtrations you can add. Okay.
I I am talking about the approval group where we selected approval group. So in this rule, can we select like job or anything else? And that would get combined with the previous rule we created. Does it work like that
No,
or
no,
no?
no, no. If you are selecting that add action as approval group, you should select approval group only. There, when you click on add actions, we have other approval options, right? If you select those, then you can include those job or position or resource directly. Okay, those also I'll take you through that how to set employee supervisory, how to set direct resource that approvals. Okay, in other document case at that time you can just understand that. But that you cannot do. If you go with approval group only you have to select. Other you cannot select other values. That's how it will provision the access.
Actually, my question is, so for the first rule, we said,
Let me
let's say if it's less than certain amount, it could go for the approval rule. And if it's more than certain amount, can we select it goes as per the job instead of the approval?
Yeah, that
So
we
within
can
one,
set. No, that we can set.
okay, that was my question. Thank
rule
you.
rule is different, right? You can set within the rule only one add action once you select approval group only you have to select. Yes, different rules means yes, different option level of different approvals you can set it up. Possible. Done. So we're just done with that two rules definition. Okay, now the next step is we have to enable the invoice approvals for our business unit. So now you can go to invoice options, go to our implementation project, search for invoice options, click on go to task icon. And we are going to enable invoice approvals for this business unit. Whatever the rule we defined in the rule definition itself, we didn't specify the rule should be applicable for which BU. That means for which business unit you enable this invoice approvals, and if from that business unit the Google user is going to record the invoices, the rule will be triggered. So we have a approval section here. You can say enable invoice approval. Okay, here accounting preferences, the accounting regardless of approval status, require accounting before approval, required approval before accounting. And if you want to set force approvals, you can set require validation before these are all are the preferences of how it should work. If you want to select, you can select, or else this would be enough for us to test. So enable invoice approvals in the invoice options, then say save and close. Okay, with this we are ready with the setups. Okay, and now we'll go and create the invoice from Google user with same or less than 50,000, 50,000 or less than 50,000 with any amount. So when you create, what system will do? System will trigger the notification to the same user. Same user can approve it. We'll see how it goes. And if any errors with that process, from where we can find, that we'll discuss. So done. Now go to invoice workbench. Before we go and create invoice, we'll open current periods. GL and AP will go and open the current period. First go to GL application to open the periods. The current period status is future enterable. Click on the status, select May month, say open period. Say OK. It may take a couple of minutes time to update the status. Meantime, we'll go and open AP periods. Switch to payables. Under payables, click on invoices task and go to task list. Scroll a little down. Here we have a task called as manage accounting periods. Okay. So because this user has access to multiple BUs, those BUs are associated with all these ledgers. So that is the reason we are able to see all these ledgers here. So we have to go with the Google US primary ledger. Just click on this. Select May month and click on open period, or else you can go with the actions, say open target period, or if you select period already, then you can say open period. There are different ways how you can use this interface. Just click on open period. Done. So May period status is open, June period status is future enterable. Done. Now we'll go and create invoice and payables. By considering the rules which we defined, accordingly enter the amounts. The best thing what we can do is I'll just sign out and sign in. So just now we create a rule, right? So better we can sign out and sign in, and we'll try to test it. Okay, it's not required. Just if you directly try it, there may not be impact. Our system may not trigger properly. Like that is the reason. Just I'm trying to do. Even if you try directly, also it should work. If it is not happening, just try in this way. That's all. So our username is Google. Now go to invoice workbench. Select supplier. Supplier is Google INC. Invoice number. So invoice amount. So we'll go with the 25,000 or 50 or less than any amount. Enter line amount, also same amount. I think we don't have distribution set in this. Enter manual distribution. You may select some expense account. Software expense. Just added the additional segment called as a project at the time of that rapid implementation spreadsheet preparation. If it's applicable, you can select or you may maintain one default value to pick that. So done. Now save it. Directly you can go to validation also. Here you could see approvals required. Okay, approvals are required. See here, this is how just we have to configure. We have seen how to enable the node and how to define the rule and what are the additional setup which we have to do at invoice options. Everything we discussed. Now we are creating invoice. Once you submit this invoice for approvals, so within this environment, if the workflow is fine, okay, if it's working fine, then notification will be triggered. Otherwise, it won't go. So in that case, I'll be showing in the different instance. Okay. So now we gone through the setups. If it is not working in this instance, I'll take you through the other instance. Quickly, we can complete these setups within 5 minutes, and we'll test it. Before that, I'll test and I'll show in that instance if it is not going to work in this instance now. So more than 50% of instances you find case where this workflows doesn't work, since these are the vision instances. We'll see how it is going to be because we are using the new instance now. This is a new instance. We didn't use this instance for any previous batches, so that is the reason I'm not sure whether the approvals are triggering or not in this environment. Anyway, we'll come to know now. So we're done with that. Just we created invoice. Now you can validate this invoice. So validated. Now we'll submit this for approval. Okay, go to approval, say initiate. Okay, initiate, just initiate it directly. You can say approve also. If this user has approve limits, it will be approved, but let's go with initiate so that it would be routing to the process and you can understand how the notifications will be routed. Those points you can understand. Just click on initiate the approval. Initiated. So our invoice number is Google 1. We'll wait for some time. So basically the system will be triggering the notification, and the notification you can find here. So apart from this, the bell icon, notification icon, you can find the notifications under payables dashboard. If you go to payables dashboard, so here invoices requiring action. So requiring my approval. Okay, that means the invoices, which invoices require this user approvals, those all will come under this tab in the queue. And if the invoice are submitted by this user which are waiting for other employee approvals, those you can find under this tab. Pending approvals from others, that means invoices which are created by this user and which are pending from other users, those you can find under this tab. Okay, which need to be approved by this user, those will come under this tab. And which are the invoices which are created by this user which need to be approved by other users, you can find here. You need to search and verify. This is how it will be filtered. We'll see that how it is going to be now. Just I'll press the URL. Yeah, please.
So Lakshman,
Yep.
do we get any notifications like in EBS?
That's what the same notifications I am talking about, where you get in case of EBS, in the navigator itself, you can have one function called as notifications, right? Or else the right side, the preferences you can have, right? In the home page. Once you log in into that application, the right side you can see that notification, right? Default.
Right.
Similar to that, this notification you can map with that.
Right. I was actually asking about email notifications.
Yeah, email notifications. Yes, you can just get it. Just you have to map with that server and all.
And the other question with regard to email notification was, is there a way to resend email notification if suppose a user fails to receive, or if they want to have it resent? Is it possible?
Uh, I mean, you will be sending the notification, and again that you want to send back to that application.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm asking the question like resend in the sense.
So if the user has not got, so now it actually kicks in a workflow where
For
the
the resend, you can do it. Yeah, got
user
it.
will have
Got
to
your
approve
point.
it, right?
You can do that in the actions itself, approvals where we selected initiate. There itself, we have a resend. You can do that.
Okay,
We have
sure.
option for that. Yes. Just let's wait for some time. Click on notifications, pending notifications. Click on all notifications. It may refresh and it may display. So the first time, just now we configured, and it's going to be very fast notification. So it may take some time. Let's wait.
Lakshman, while we're waiting for this,
Yeah.
when you created the rules
Yes.
on that node,
Yeah.
was that node specifically designed for this purpose, or was any generic node that you picked up?
You mean like the node only for invoices or any other documents or?
So there were a series of nodes there, right?
Yeah.
So you chose one node. Was there a reason why you chose that, or is it specifically designed for this approval or
Yeah,
something
see that
else?
node, the reason which I selected is we are using the approval group. We are not, we didn't plan to send the notifications multiple people which need to be approved in the series. I mean to say in the sequence, or which need to be approved parallelly. Say you have a scenario when you create the invoice, if invoice amount is more than 50,000, that should be routed to 4 employees. Okay, once the 4 employees are approved, then only you want to convert that invoice status to approved. So in that case, you cannot use the current node. You have a parallel node.
Got it. So this was a single node.
Yeah, single. Just that kind of rule you cannot implement by using this. That's the reason I used a single, which is not required for us to use that one.
Great. And then the nodes are predefined, or is it possible we can customize the nodes as well? Like if I want another process which is
Yeah,
custom.
yes, we can do that, but we require a BPM expert. In EBS case, we need workflow developer, right? So in the same way,
Correct.
the person is expertised in SOA BPM, business process management, technically, they can do that.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, and Lakshman, what are the various types of nodes available, and what are the differences between a single and multiple? The only two different, or there are multiple?
Not single and multiple. So one you can say like forever information, just forever information notification, no action required. Just whenever you do that activity, system will trigger the notification to that user. That is one option. The second option is what we selected now, what we are working on. Single participant, where you can use approval group for any other purpose. The other one is parallel. Parallel means you can send the notification to multiple people it won't update the approval status to specific invoice or any document until unless all people will approve it. Other one is serial. You send to 4 members, you will be specifying how it has to be routed. So one after one has to approve. Once all people are approved in the sequence, then the status will be turned into approved. These are the different nodes we have. So in that approval workflow, you could see these nodes only in the header level, line level. That's how we have.
Okay. Also in that BPM work list, that screen, I did not see something called a help. Just in case we needed a help on something.
No, I didn't get your question.
The help option wasn't available at the BPM work list, that workflow the screen.
So the most of the cases it is available. I didn't notice that whether it's there or not. But if it is not there, we don't need to worry about it. Just here you can click on help and it will enable the help as we discussed initially, and you can go to that help repository. From there you can search for BPM, business process management, or else you can get we have a like you can access the user guides also available as a open source in the Google. You can go and search for Oracle Fusion release 12 release 13 BPM document, business process management. You can search with the term, you can get the directory where you can download the user guides and you can explore on that. So help,
Okay, thank you.
this is not the icon they given or not. I didn't notice. We'll see that when next time when you go there. We'll see that. Yeah. So
Next one, you mentioned that we can customize the notes. Person needs to be a BPM expert. But my question is, if in cloud we can also customize, or do we need on-premise to customize the note?
yeah, you can do that in cloud also. You can do that because it's not functionality. It's all about writing the rules and the conditions. You can do that. It's not functionality related, right? It's all about how you want to route and all.
Okay. And my next question is, so in this case, we when we set up the approval rules, we said if the Google user has the ability to approve up to the limit that's assigned to him
Yeah.
in the rule, yeah, the invoice will get auto approved. But what if we have a scenario that we don't want the user who's creating the invoice to approve it, regardless of whether he or she has the limit? So in that case, can we accomplish that using cloud standard functionalities here?
No. I'm sorry. I didn't get you. 1 second. I'm just searching for this notification same time, and I could not focus on your question. Could you please repeat what's your question? So,
Yes. So if we want a person who's approving so if we want a person who's creating the invoice never approve it. So even though the person, like for example, Google has the ability to approve approve the invoice to a certain limit. What if we don't want Google to ever approve anything, even if it's within Google's approval limit, and we want it to go to his or her supervisor?
yeah, you can create one
Is
rule
that possible?
saying that no approval is required if the person is so and so. That also you can specify.
No, my question is if we want Google not to self-approve his or her own transaction, even though the approval rule says it's within Google approval limit, can it go to his or her manager, or would it be automatically approved?
In that case,
Is there a way we can set up?
set supervisory. You have to set supervisory. In that case, this person can just hit that approvals. Then that automatically notification cannot be approved. It will be routed to supervisor.
Even though in that case Google will have the limit to approve the invoice,
No.
it
In
would
case
not.
of employee supervisory, see, there is no need of setting the limits and all. It's a simple definition for for each employee we specify the supervisor and simply will write the rule saying that If somebody creates any invoice, it has to be routed to supervisor irrespective of amount.
Okay, so in this case, we cannot do that, right? If we specify if we want to use the amount as a condition to route the approval, we cannot do that. We have to use
Even specification wise also you can do it. So you can say if invoice amount is more than this, then that has to be routed to supervisor. That also we can do. See, there are different ways of expressions which you can set up in the rules. You can say directly irrespective of amount it has to be routed. So done. In that case, whatever we write written, if invoice amount is so and so, so that you don't need to write. In that case, we have to write the expression one is one. We have to write. That means system will understand approvals are mandatory. Then you specify supervisory approval. Then irrespective of amount, it will be routed. Now, if you want to make the situation, if amount is more than 10,000, it has to be routed to supervisor. Make it. Otherwise, the below means it won't look for any approvals. It will allow. One second, just will check it. This notification.
Lakshman, do we have workflow administrator equivalent role or any placeholder here in cloud where we can see all the notifications?
Yeah, no, we can go through that. That privilege will be having. Those are part of multiple roles also, which we are using
Oh
now.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, there from there we can, as I said, like if you have some issue from where we can see that point, will touch those administration part only.
No, I thought we are waiting for this, right? Probably
Yeah, will.
might be. No problem. It's not doubt actually. I was just curious. That's
Yeah, definitely we should see that. So I think anyway, it is taking time to trigger that notification. Meantime, we'll go and see the same page where we navigate and create approval rule and approval group. From the same page you can just
okay.
connect to that administration part where you can see what's wrong with which notification and all. You can see you can go with the same approval groups. It will navigate us to BPM. Here BPM work list we have, right? So next to user, once you land in this BPM work list page, you can just click on next to user. You have a drop down option. Here you have like administration part, reports, preferences, okay, user details and all you have. Here even you can set the vacation plan, etc., like how who can approve in the specific period of time. If specific user is not available, that you can set. One second, we are on the same page. Just go to home. Here all notifications you can find out related to approvals. Here you can find out all the tasks. Even if you have some notifications with errors, all will be reported here. Okay. Now, whatever the approval just document invoice we submitted, that also should just display here, but it's not a triggered. Okay, here you can set the you can go to preferences. And the vacation period. Okay, you can specify, you can delegate the provision to different user. These specifications you can do. So this user is going to be on vacation and what is starting, and if you want to delegate the privileges to approve it, you can specify to whom you want to delegate. That's all you can define here. So this, why this is not triggering? Just see that.
Lakshman, is there any workflow background process should initiated?
like the
No,
same
no,
similar to EBS?
no, no, no. It's a very much it's a stabilized and automated process. Like
Okay.
EPS, we no need to go and run something. Okay, it's all the time the synchronization will be running. See, simply now we are in the BPM. You just go and you can go on to simply update something, and immediately it will get updated. So it will be synchronized in the process to connect. Okay, no, no, we don't need to run any process. So fine, we'll just go and verify the invoice status. No notification we received. Oh, it's went into rejected. That means there is some issue with approvals. So somebody was asking like resubmit. You can resubmit, or we can withdraw, or keep on hold and force approval. Approve or reject from here only. It's rejected. That means the workflow is not working. Okay, I'll just show you the same in the other environment. Before that, I'll test whether that approvals are working in that or not. Then if it is working, then I'll take you through the same setups. Same setups. So if you have any your client instance test environment and all, you can try. It will work. So 50 to 60% of environments doesn't support these approvals, since these are the vision instances. Okay. Anyway, just our target is not just doing the completing the setups. Even the expectation is we have to see the results also. So I'll just take you through that. For now, I'll mark this as a pending only, since we could not see the expected outcome. Invoice approvals. Sorry. So pending I am marking because setups and all that same, and only system is not triggering the notifications. Well, that we'll see. It's already 7:30. Fine, we'll connect in the tomorrow session. It's almost 7:30. Okay. So you don't need to worry about it. We'll have a session on this again. So now we've gone through the setups. Next time when you do the same setups, we don't need to discuss detail level, and we don't need to uh, talk about each and every point. Straight away we can go and rapidly complete the setups within 5 minutes. So maybe we require 10 minutes time to go through the same once again. Okay, I'll just validate one instance and I'll take you through that. So I thought like it may work in this. That is the reason I tried directly in here. Okay, we'll see the same in the other instance. Okay. So any questions from anyone, please?
Um, Lakshman, I have a quick question regarding my practice session, not anything related to
Yeah,
workflow.
please.
After I reassigned the corporate accounting value set to my account field,
Hmm.
I was only able to select the list of the accounts that are popped up before I click on the search button. When I want to search something else, when I click on that search, the system gets hang up. I mean, it's getting hung up. It's going nowhere actually.
Yeah, generally what happens is when we you change that value set at instance level, right? Instance level we you
Right.
override it. So when you do that, after that we have to submit for deployment. Say you submitted for deployment, and
Right.
still there is some issue. Only the point is we have to wait for some time, and that is the point. Normally, see, this is not directly connecting to the question which you asked, but generally it works. So other participants also we have, if they are going to do it, so you may not see the values also directly. So we have to wait for some time, then only it will reflect. So
It's been days.
comes to, sorry.
It's been days actually.
No, no, no,
I did it.
no, no, no. No, you see, in your case, you are getting the values. In your case, you are getting the values, but when you search, it doesn't give.
Exactly.
So in that case, please
Right.
try with the other browser and make sure that the bandwidth or the internet what you are using, it is.
Oh, I worked in my work system also, work laptop also. Same
Okay.
thing happening. And I
Try with a
worked in,
different browser. Try with a different browser. It should work
okay,
because we are using the same instance. For I'm using
okay,
for the classes, and the rest of all are also using the same instance. If instance is different, definitely we can think on that point. But we are not finding any issue with this instance. So my
okay,
suggestion is try with a different browser.
okay,
Yeah, try with a different browser. That should work.
okay,
Yeah, still if any issue, we'll see how to sort it out.
okay, no problem.
Yeah, fine. Thank you.
Lakshman,
Yeah.
when I was doing FBDI for supplier import,
Okay.
and I was able to successfully import supplier into a staging table.
Okay.
When I run the final
Staging,
import to the base table,
staging in the sense interface here. No staging
interface
software.
table,
Yeah. Right.
that's correct.
Yeah.
It was from interface table to base table, it successfully completes,
Hmm.
but does not import anything. And I did query on the interface table,
Hmm.
and the data is there, but didn't get processed.
So yeah, see the point is here we have some small bug in that program status. So you have if you loaded data into interface, when you try to import, what system is doing is, so it run the process and it will update the status as a completed, but that is errored out, or it really executed that status, we are not finding that there is some issue with that process. So even data got stuck in the interface. If you submit import payable invoices, the process running and it is stating the status has succeeded. Until unless you go and verify the output file or log file, you never come to know as there is some issue with the data. Or else if you go and verify interface table level, you will just come to know the data is there, and because some error, some issues exist with that. So that issue we have with that program, basically that program should end with error or some warning based on the status of the data which is there in the interface when you try to import. So
Okay.
only the point here is, so you can just, you have to manually verify that status also, the output file or log file which system generates once you submit the process. If you see, if you don't find the data in the uh, base table level, means if data is not imported, in that case verify that, or else directly you can access to the ADFDI spreadsheet page where you can find out the added we have a function task over there, right? What I can say, import errors, right? Through that you can find out.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Thanks. Fine. If possible, just I'll keep other instance ready by tomorrow to test this invoice approvals, or else in tomorrow session we'll proceed with the remaining concepts. And before we execute P2P cycle, I'll keep other instance ready to test the invoice approvals once again to see the result. Okay, but if you have some other instance, because even if you are going to test, you have to test in the same instance, we all are using the same environment. If you have some other instance, you can try on that, it will work. Okay, so if no questions, we can wind up for today. We'll connect tomorrow.
Lakshman, I have a question.
Yep.
Lakshman,
Yep.
Okay.
yeah, the spreadsheet implementation is not working fine as expected in my MacBook. So, did
Yeah,
you get any
MacBook,
chance to?
yeah, I just got a confirmation it doesn't support.
Okay,
Okay, only these spreadsheet related, you may just try in the other instance just for practice. So yeah, we don't have that feasibility, I mean compatibility with that MacBook.
okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
it
I'll
may,
try and.
yeah, it may come later, not sure, but as of now we don't have any supporting file for that. Fine. So any questions from anyone, please? If no questions, we'll connect tomorrow.
Can you
Lakshman, just
send me
one
the
thing.
next class meeting link?
Next class meeting link, I'll be sending on the same day. I mean tomorrow itself, before 5 or 10 minutes.
No, no, no. 8 o'clock. Your 8 o'clock session.
Okay, okay, yeah, yeah. That if you are in touch with the team, you will be getting it. You have
Oh,
received yesterday,
yes, I got it.
then receive today also.
Okay.
You'll get it. Yeah. Thanks. Fine. See you tomorrow. Have a good day and good night. Yeah, yeah. Please, please.
Good
Just
night.
FYI, I have sent emails with some questions I have
Okay.
last week, some this week. So just wanted to inform you. Waiting on the response on that.
Oh, okay, okay. I'll just go through that mail and I'll revert. Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Lakshman, I have also sent you an email. So if you could respond to that, it'll be great.
Sure, sure, sure. I'll do it today.
All right. Thank you.
Fine, Lijit. Fine. Thank you. Okay. See you tomorrow. Have a good day and good night. Thank you all.